you hop inside my car on the expressway to your home.
Doc 103.9 Auto Show back. Catch it every week at this time. We thank you very much for joining us. Chip Lyness along with Louie Herron from Louie Herron Toyota. Louie, pretty interesting show today. We got a lot more to go.
And we got some more to go. We got some, how about some questions on negotiating? We got three questions here on negotiating that are all pretty good. First question. So the question is, would I get a better deal if I told the dealership that I have a large down payment? So Chip, so you're the consumer and you've got some money to put down. Do you perceive that the dealership makes more with down payment, or do you perceive that you need to hold on to that and not say anything? Or you got $3,000 you want to put down, or you just say, look, I've got $3,000 put down and I want to spend another $10,000. I mean, how do you feel about that? And how do you think consumers feel about that question?
I think consumers, let me take it from that angle. I think consumers, it's like when they come up and have cash to pay cash for the car, I think consumers perceive they'll get a better deal.
Right.
I think from the automotive standpoint, from the dealer standpoint, they know, hey, I'm at least going to get this guy financed.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, you hit on two good things. So here's the deal on that. So the question is, would I get a better deal if I told the dealership that I have a large down payment? So first thing I would say is I'm kind of torn, because the first thing I would tell you is, the more everybody knows up front, the better everybody is as it relates to time. We don't go back and forth and negotiate forever and ever and ever. But there's also a side. Okay, if I'm being totally transparent, there's also a side of a bit of posturing, understanding how you can work your best deal as a consumer, right? If you want to negotiate and you've got a couple $1,000s, but you'd rather keep that if you could and still achieve what you want, then that's something you've always got in your back pocket. No pun intended. I mean, it could literally be there, but I'm saying you could actually work that out. But ultimately, you got to understand this: when the banks took the bailout money, okay, when they took the money. That's when the Dodd-Frank and all the stringent laws started kicking in, and automotive got hit a little bit as well. Not like mortgages and some of the real estate, but every lender, they love to see 15 to 20% down. Love it. Now, it's not a requirement. But that's why when you go to a car dealership, you're always going to see a first offer with a price and or maybe a payment structure, and typically you're going to see a down payment. And the down payment is going to be somewhere around 15 to 20%, because we know when we send the deal to the bank, they're going to want to say, where's the commitment from the customer? I'm going to shell out $20,000 for John Smith, let's just say, and I don't see John. All I see is paper. I see his credit. I see what he makes, where he works, how long he's been there, change of jobs. Tell me where's the skin in the game from him. That's what the banks are asking us, the car dealership. They're wanting to know, hey, did you get money from the guy? We want some money. We're going to finance it. We want money. So from a dealership perspective, the structure can vary in assist in revenues, but as far as overall just making more, the banks love to see 15 to 20%. So as a consumer, would you get a better deal? Let me tell you where you would definitely get it. The more cash down, the cheaper your interest rate. The more cash down, the cheaper your interest rate. That is one area I can tell you for certain you can get a better deal. You could be $4,000 upside down and have $6,000 cash and not necessarily feel like you got a better deal because you're paying for negative equity. So I don't want to mislead people and say, oh, yeah, big down payment, definitely a better deal. Not so much. Big down payment, definitely a better interest rate.
I got you.
If you're putting a lot of cash down, that's a large commitment. Then loan to value comes into play. The lender should be giving you the best possible rate you possibly can get. So that would be the answer to that question. But I also would think that you definitely want to make certain that you can do the more you can tell the sales representative, the better the negotiation is going to go. If you want to be that buyer that says, look, I got X amount of dollars and I'll pay you X amount of dollars and that's where I'm at based on what I've done, then that's another way to sit on your figures. So,
but if you have maybe $300 a month for a car payment, you might be better off, instead of going in October with just $300 to put down, don't go in until January when you've got $1,500
Absolutely.
to put down.
Well, I will tell you, when you put a cash down payment down, it tells the lenders that you're committed. It tells them that you're in the game with them, that you're willing to put that $1,500 up, because all they're looking for is the commitment, because they're going to loan the money. And, if your credit is shaky, they want to make sure that you've got, some skin in the game. Now, if your credit's immaculate, they're still would love to see 15 to 20% down. But again, it's not a must.
Sure.
So if you've got great credit, you should also be able to buy a car with no money down.
I see.
Okay, another question came in. My credit score is between 600 and 620. I've got interest rates between 14 and 18%. Which number is accurate? You perceive 600 to 620 is a good credit score or bad?
I think that is below average. I would say maybe not terrible, but bad.
Yeah, you're perfect. 700 or better is good. 650 to 680 is a solid average score. You get in the 600, 620. It's not great. So when you're talking about interest rates of 14 to 18%, both those rates could be a tad on the high side. Those, in my opinion, 6 to 620, you should be more around the 10 to 12% range. Again, every dealer uses different lenders. It just depends on what lender. Mm-hmm. Also depends on how much cash down. Also depends on if you're buying a domestic car or an Asian import. Mm-hmm. Okay, because when somebody listening to me now says, wait a minute, I got a 620 and I was just at a car dealership 3 weeks ago and they told me 19%. Wait a minute, what you got to pay attention to is the lenders are going to package the deal the best way. They like financing import cars more than domestic. Okay, based on reliability or a lineage of liability. They feel like long term Honda products, Toyota products, Nissan products hold their value longer based on the residuals. I'm not saying they're better than Fords or better than Chevrolets, yep. Right? But that's how they look at their lending. How much cash down are you putting, or how little cash down? You get a higher interest rate if you have little cash because they're putting out more risk. The bank is loaning $22,000 on a $20,000 car. You're going to pay them. You're going to pay them some interest. So remember, the bank gets the interest, so it's something you always got to consider, and that's important. So,
but banks have eased up a little bit since the crash, haven't they?
They have eased up a lot. They're approving a lot of deals. They're taking a lot of marginal deals, but the criteria by which they look at those are still different. They're not. It's not like it used to be.
I see.
But there's still, if you have bad credit, there's still a lot of opportunity.
And then if there's competitors between the banks, they want the deal too, right?
Absolutely.
They don't want it going to the other guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So coming to a break, we'll conclude. We got some more. We got more glossary of words. We got more frequently asked questions. So we talked about some consumer issues last week. We didn't really get into it, so maybe we'll hit one. We'll see when we come back.
And we want to find out about the court case.
Oh, here we go.
All that coming up. I want you to keep it right here. Lake Area's #1 station and home of the auto show every Saturday morning and Monday morning, right here on Doc 103.9.